Good morning. For those who don't know me, my name is Cindy Depoe, and I'm honored that Robert asked me to do the stewardship moment today. The campaign's theme this year is The Abundant Life, and today's focus is Grace in Action. And I guess Robert must be classifying me as an action person. I do prefer doing things to talking about things. A lot of the time you'll find me in the kitchen downstairs. Hey, we're Methodist. There's always something going on centered around food. There's potlucks, tamales, Phil's Place, treats for choir members on birthdays. Now, don't get me wrong. I have times when I just want to sit and watch 20 consecutive hours of college football. But I'm usually most content when I'm working toward an outcome, especially outcomes that fill a need, fix a wrong, or advance the cause of justice. A little background, I grew up Lutheran and Presbyterian, was confirmed as a Presbyterian, Christabel must, and then married a Methodist. I think my bent to service comes from my Calvinist background. My parents' favorite verse in the Bible that they quoted over and over to us children was James 2:26, faith without works is dead. And while even Calvinists know you don't buy grace through your actions, declaring faith without evidence of extending the same grace that Christ extended is just a lot of talk. You have to walk the walk. The second scripture passage that was drilled into us growing up was Luke 12:48. From everyone who has been given much, much will be expected. Those who have abundance in any form in their life, time, talent, treasure, are expected to share, since none of what we have is really ours anyway. It is from God. So Steve and I came to Clifton 11, 12 years ago. I lose track. We immediately felt that we were in a sacred place. The church's out loud statement that not only were all persons accepted, but all were affirmed as beloved of God, especially those that God holds most dear and society rejects, was to me very radical for our church. But not only are the words said here, but those words come with actions attached. We walk the walk. There are marches and protests to attend, denominational hierarchy to oppose, petitions to sign, food to cook, including hundreds of tamales, signs to hang, prayers to say, housing to find, laundry to do, legislation to pass, etc. This community of believers supports actions as a way to supply a need, engage with others, and create a just and equitable world. We serve out of the abundance we have in our lives. We share what we have, time, talent, and treasure. God in action. Here is another reason why I love Clifton. We support people with ideas of new ministries. Steve and I had established a free neighborhood meal program in our previous church. And when we came to Clifton, we looked to see if there was a food program we could plug into that was similar. At the time, there wasn't. So Steve and I asked around, and we became connected with Phil's Place ministry in Northside. And then this church became connected with Phil's Place. The money for the food and supplies for that monthly meal, we supply through our church's budget. This ministry of action got funded by your pledges. Another example, Janae Clark had a ministry idea of making prayer shawls as a way to physically surround and support those who need prayers for healing, comfort, and joy. You can see the evidence of those persons who extend their grace by their craft work on the altar rail this morning. Clifton supported Janae's idea of grace in action. And while this ministry is not yet funded by the church, maybe someday with your pledges it might be. Clifton also does not say to persons who'd like to get involved in ministry areas or develop new ideas, sorry, so-and-so's in charge of that ministry, and they've been in charge for decades, and we don't need your help right now. Neither do they say, well, your idea is not the way we typically do it here, or our church is doing so much already, we couldn't possibly do another thing. Trust me, I've heard all of those things in other churches. Do you have an idea for showing grace in action? Speak up. Clifton is committed to extending grace through action. Clifton wants to support your call to extend grace. Our monetary pledges help us to support your ideas and visions. So bottom line, why do I give to Clifton? Well, obviously we have to have heat in the winter, air conditioning in the summer, light bulbs replaced, roofs repaired, and so on. But this church has visions of a more just and kind world. You have ideas of how to extend grace here and in the community. I pledge my money to this church in order to fund your visions of grace in action. I pledge my money and my time and my talents to honor a God who asks us to work for others, especially those who are marginalized. Loosely paraphrasing James 2:26 here, I need to put my money where my mouth is. Will you join me? Or as Robert said today, can you give fearlessly?